Hi, everyone, and welcome back. I'm Adriana Monique Alvarez. I'm the founder of Alma Publishing, and I'm so excited to continue our conversations. We are meeting all of the contributors in Awakening, and I have Abigail with me today. Hi, Abigail.
Hello.
So tell us where you're joining from.
Colorado.
That's right. Colorado's in the house. And I have to tell you, I was having so much fun with you in our pre-talk talk. I forgot to make sure your banner was ready. My ringer's on. Of course, that's what my dad and my grandma's going to call. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot what I'm doing.
Of course.
Oh, man.
I love it.
Abigail, I'm a fan. I mean, we've known each other for a while now. I mean, I met you right after I came online. Yes.
Yep.
So I've got to be in your presence, in your magic. I've got to be your client. And so tell us about what you wrote about in your chapter.
Yeah, so I wrote about DNA activation. I think it's so interesting when you sent me that invite and it was like a scream. Like my higher self is right there. It's like DNA activation. I was like, are you sure? I don't know if people are ready for that. It's like DNA activation. I was like, fine. I throw my hands up. Let's do this.
I'll stop arguing.
Yeah, and I chose to write about that because especially in this day and age, the more people we can activate, I feel like the more light we can bring in, the more lighter we can feel, the more clearer we can see our path and what we need to bring in to support humanity. So it's like, it was brilliant that it came in, that I need to share it in that way, and I talked about it in the book where it's always been kind of like a secret, in the mystery schools, that's the only way you can get activated. Or if you're connected to a student in the mystery schools. In the olden days, you had to be like royalty to receive this tool. So for it to be accessible that way, especially now in the book like that, is like you can get a little bit. And then if you want to dive in, of course, that's like a whole different level, which you've experienced. It blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind that it's so accessible now. Yeah.
Well, I have to say, when I was reading your chapter, I could feel it, right? Because I was like, oh, yes, I remember this codon. I remember this thing. And this is what I want to tell you, is when I was preparing for our call and when I was reading your chapter, I was remembering when you took me through this process, right? And that was almost a year ago, right?
Yeah.
And I had this light bulb moment and I was like, oh my God, that is actually what set me up for what's happening right now. I was like, she did it.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Exactly. Thank you so much. I mean, I have to say this. If you haven't had your DNA activated, just call Abigail. That's what I want to say. I'm telling you, remember, Abigail, I told you when we were doing it, it was like light bulbs in my own, right? Like me discovering new rooms in my own house, in my own being. Yeah. And I mean, big things happened when we were doing it, right after we were doing it.
Yep.
But then I have this very clear memory of when I knew everything would be different.
Mm-hmm.
And truthfully, I mean, how could everything be different once you experience that, right? But I have to say, while that sounds really good, like that sounds amazing, right? Oh God, everything is different. Like you said, there's so much more light. You're bringing a whole new level of awareness and consciousness. But I did have this panic moment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know, right around 400 times, right? Like, oh wait, everything really is different and new. Well, this is really familiar. Like I've got this down pat, right? I can do this with my eyes closed. And as you know, right now I'm being led into I don't know anything about that. This is brand new. Wait, what? I'm farming and homesteading and what? Right? I'm growing food and keeping bees. But you know what? You were so right. It really is about bringing more of this into the world right now so that we can each be who we need to be right now and bringing what's ours to bring.
Yes.
So let me ask you this, because this might just sound like freaking mumbo jumbo to someone who's never had it done, right? How would you explain this in like the most ordinary way?
Oh man, that's a challenge right there.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
something, like I can, and I even talked about this in the book too. I can tell you how it's supposed to feel, but each person experiences an activation very differently. The
Mm.
whole concept of it, it might be a very spiritual concept, but you are literally bringing spiritual light into your physical body and your physical life. So the changes that you see are not just spiritual. You will see that, you will experience that in the physical. That's what makes it so intense. You're like, holy crap, all of a sudden I just dropped this amount of weight. All of a sudden I feel really good. All of a sudden I'm craving spinach and fruit, and I'm not craving McDonald's. All of a sudden I just want to drink a lot of water. I want to stay hydrated. All of a sudden I cannot hang out with these people anymore because I don't feel good when I'm around them. So you start noticing this. And I love what you said, that it allows you to be, because it just awakens all the different aspects of yourself. And in this world, we have forgotten who we are as a multidimensional being, as a spiritual being. We don't really understand what that really means. We've kind of put it as, oh, it means that you meditate a lot, it means that you do yoga, it means that you're like a monk in a monastery. No, you don't have to do any of that to achieve that. You have within you, encoded within you, the most remarkable, magnificent aspects of you that literally, like, I have chills talking about this, blows your mind. Like, how can I be connected to Archangel Michael? How can I be connected to Mary Magdalene and Joan of Arc? How can I be connected to this ascended master who's such a badass? Like, how is that even possible? And that being's gene, that being's DNA is encoded within me. And what does that even look like? What does that even mean? To awaken that within myself. Well, that's the journey of DNA activation. You bring the light in, you ignite each of those codons, you waken it up, and then it begins to express in your physicality so that you can learn what that looks like and what that feels like. You become a different being. You literally become a different being.
Yeah.
And so all I can say is, imagine your life before. You're kind of like, your eyes are kind of, you see what you want to see. You kind of get by, and then you get DNA activation, and it's like this.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what in the world was I doing? You can't help it. You can't try to close your eyes anymore. They're wide open. And for me, what I experienced, it physically felt like, it looked like my world was brighter than it was supposed to. Like the sun was brighter. Like everything looked brighter to me after my first DNA activation. And after like my third one, I was literally buzzing. Like my
Yeah.
senses were on point. Like my gifts, my visions were like clear. I mean, it was beautiful and it was intense. And I was like, holy shit, I cannot go back there anymore. I can't do that anymore. I can't be this person anymore, because even if I try, it doesn't feel good to me. It's boring to me.
Yes.
I
Yes.
can't do that anymore. Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, first off, I want to say this. If you have never really tuned into who your guides are or who your angels are, I'm telling you, DNA activation will just bring it just like
Yes.
that. Just like that. I had just briefly sort of had my first encounter with Mother Mary when I had my first son. I
Yeah.
didn't grow up with Mother Mary, right? I wasn't raised Catholic, even though my mom had that background. It was never part of my world. I just thought that's for Catholic people. I just had a thing for, she was over there. But then when you did this DNA activation with me, I mean, Mother Mary came in on the scene like, whoa. And Mother Mary is not this meek, mild Mother Mary.
No.
She got me in neck holds this summer. Like, God bless it. She's fierce. She's like, no, you don't understand.
Let me tell you. Okay. Let me tell you who I am.
It's like, oh,
Oh,
that's who you are when you're Jesus's mother. Yeah, I get it.
exactly.
And, this is such a powerful thing, because right now I know I see it over and over and over from friends, family, clients. This is a time where a lot of people can feel alone.
Yes.
People can feel lost. People can forget, right? Because there's a lot of chaos and there's a lot going on. And I'm telling you, if you want to be connected in to your soul family, to your guides, to your angels, I mean, do this activation with Abigail. Abigail, I will tell you, that was the best money and experience I ever had. I mean, it was just
Oh,
amazing.
I'm so glad. I mean, I think it's amazing because I've experienced it like multiple times. Being a student in the mystery school, that was a priority. Like we had to get an activation every week. You can imagine like receiving all those higher vibrational wisdom, like Kabbalah and spiritual alchemy. How can you understand it when you are not activated? So it's like every week we were on point, like getting activated and activating each other. And it was the most amazing time in my life being in the mystery school, and things have never been the same. My gifts are the way they are because of that journey. It's fine-tuning. It was a journey of remembrance and fine-tuning. And it continues to, because I continue to work with my people. I know who my people are. And even though I forget sometimes, Mary Magdalene is my master of light with Joan of Arc. And I mean, when I first was introduced to her, I had no idea who she was. Okay, I just knew that she might have been connected to Jesus, maybe Jesus' girlfriend or something. Who knows? What do you hear? They didn't really portray her right. So just like, oh. And then my teacher, of course, I loved her because she never gave us the answers. She wanted us to discover. And so I spent time with Mary Magdalene. I mean, I didn't have a choice. She came in. She's like, here I am. Let's do this. And she continues to. Like this year, she's like coming in very strongly, like teaching me about leadership and what I'm here to do and what she did and how I can see myself in that. But she is, I mean, the Marys are intense. They are powerful. They're strong, and they are badass women, badass leaders. And when you align with them, I mean, when you know your people, how can you feel alone? The
Yes.
times that I felt the most alone and the dark times of my life was when I felt disconnected, when I had no idea who they were. How can you be alone when you have all these people around you, all these beings? And the beauty about these beings is that some of them, most of them actually, they used to be human. So they
Mm,
know what it is like to be human, especially the masters of light. They know what you're going through. They know what you're walking into. And they chose, there's a reason why they chose to mentor you in this lifetime, because that you are living the lifetime that they had lived before. So it kind of makes life a little bit easier, a
yep.
little bit easier. They don't take away the challenges. If anything, they will challenge you if need be. But they help you make sense of this life. There's a lot of things that a lot of people see me like, how are you calm? How are you not reacting that way? Because I see something that is way beyond what most human allow themselves to see. I feel it too. There's so much more. Yes, every time there's transformation, there's chaos, there's the whirlwind. But what is at the center of that transformation? That's where I am. That's where I'm standing. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm feeling. And I couldn't have done it if I wasn't open to that higher level, of existence, of being, right?
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so delicious talking about
Mm,
it.
it is. Oh my goodness. I love your work, Abigail. And I
Thank
know
you.
you do, this and a whole bunch more. And I want you to let us know, how can people connect with you?
So I'll say Facebook. I do have a group on there, like a container, I should say, Moon Goddess Sacred Sanctum. I have plenty of videos and tools that you can start out with. If you have questions, pop in there, drop it for me. I can always answer. I also have a podcast, Sovereign Divinity Podcast, and that's where another medium where I'm trying to share some of the teachings so they can, reach more people. So if you're looking for tools to kind of get started, you can do that too. But my website is moongoddessacademy.com, and you can always go there and just find all the information that you need, how to work with me, the different things I do, all of that yumminess. So
Mm, I love it. And I mean, we're both in Colorado now. I mean,
Yes.
what's going to happen now?
Oh. I did want to add one more thing with the DNA activation. And you would notice, especially for you, I think this message is specifically for you, is that when you do it once, it awakens you up. And then things starts rolling in. When you do it twice, the next level comes in. When you do it 3 times, the more you do it, the more of yourself you bring in, and the more also happens in the physicality. So, and that's why in the program it's just there, so you can always go back and revisit and redo it. Yes, yeah, that's the reason why I left it that way.
It's time for me to redo it, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, when you reach that point, because it will take you to the next level, and then you get to that point, you're like, okay, something new is coming. Okay, I know I'm supposed to do this. That's usually when you get the next activation. It's like, boom, clarity. This is what you need to do. This is the next step. This is the help that is coming in for you. And then that part will reveal itself. Yeah. So you can just keep doing it. It doesn't have to stop. Anytime you need that boost, anytime that you need that reconnection, you do it. It's a powerful reconnection tool. So why not?
Why not? Yeah. Why not? Okay, I'm on it. I'm in there. Last time I was doing it, I remember I was in bed with my crystals and my rocks. Yep. I was like, poof, I'm going to probably blow out the roof of this house.
I love it. I love it. Oh, my goodness. Yes.
Well, Abigail, thank you so much for the work you do, for the chapter you contributed. I mean, even just reading your chapter, it's going to open up so much for people. So yes. I want to remind everyone, you can pick up your copy of Awakening if you haven't already. Get on Amazon, go to Abigail's chapter. It's the first one, so it's easy to find. And if you want to be in our next book, Visionary, I'll put a link to that application. This is all about the person who can see in the dark. Where's your vision? What can you see? So, Abigail, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going in for round 2.
Woohoo!
Yeah, you'll see it. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Until next time, big hugs from Colorado. Talk soon.
Thank you.